Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is shaving a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The tension in Los Angeles had never been so suffocating. The city itself seeming to hold its breath as whispers of betrayal, lust, and vengeance swirled through the glamorous corridors of Forrester Creations. Taylor Hayes, the woman who had always been poised, composed, and seemingly gentle, was now a tempest offridge, simmering with a darkness no one could have imagined. A darkness that would shake the Forrester family to its core. It all began with a single searing thought. Brooke Logan had taken everything from her yet again, had shattered the fragile equilibrium Taylor had tried to maintain in her life, and had seduced Ridge into betraying Taylor's heart one too many times. The mere sight of Brooke laughing in Ridge's office, brushing her blonde hair casually as if she owned the world, ignited a fury within Taylor that she could no longer control. Hours turned into sleepless nights of plotting, pacing through the grand hallways of her Malibu estate, thinking of ways to remove the source of her torment permanently. And then the idea struck her, dark and cold like the icy waves crashing against the California coast. What if Brooke was never a threat again? What if she could orchestrate something so final, so irreversible that Ridge, Forrester Creations, and everyone who adored Brooke would be left stunned, forever reeling in disbelief? The very thought made Taylor's heart race, not with fear, but with exhilaration. The kind of twisted thrill that came from being in complete control of Alafiltering's secret. She knew she couldn't act alone. The risk was too high, the consequences too deadly. So, she turned to the shadows, to the underworld of Los Angeles's criminal underground, where whispered contacts, concealed identities, and cold-blooded killers existed for those desperate enough to pay the price. A single phone call led to an encrypted meeting in adamantly lit alley, far from the glitz and glamour of the city's high-rise towers, where Taylor's normally gentle hands clenched into fists as she handed over an envelope heavy with cash. Her eyes steely, her lips a thin line of determination. Across from her sat the man she had chosen, a figure known only as Damien, a professional whose reputation for efficiency and ruthlessness was whispered in fearful tones by the city's most dangerous. Taylor explained everything in precise detail. Brooke Logan, the threat, the obstacle, the embodiment of Taylor's heartbreak and humiliation needed to be removed permanently. Damon listened, his face unreadable, a faint smirk curling at the corner of his mouth as he processed the plan. Taylor, for the first time in decades, felt a surge of power coursing through her veins. She was no longer the woman who forgave and tried to reason with Brooke. She was the mastermind of a plan that would leave the Forrester empire in shock. The city buzzing with rumors and Ridge torn between disbelief and horror. Days passed and Taylor's veneer of calm returned. She was careful, meticulous, attending board meetings, counseling patients, and keeping up appearances as if nothing had changed. While behind closed doors, Damon prepared, mapping out every detail of Brooke's daily routines, her security, her habits, the way she would move through her life sound suspecting, so vulnerable, and yet completely in danger. Taylor's heart would pound every time she saw Brooke on television. Every time she passed her in the halls of Forrester Creations, a smile frozen on her face while plotting the unthinkable, she justified it to herself in the quiet moments of reflection. This was not murder, not in her mind. This was justice, poetic and absolute retribution for decades of betrayal, lies, and heartbreak. Meanwhile, Ridge began noticing subtle changes in Taylor's demeanor. A shadow in her eyes, an intensity that seemed almost dangerous, but love, blinded, desperate, and loyal, kept him from suspecting the terrifying truth lurking beneath Taylor's composed exterior. And then came the night of the plan's execution, the night where every heartbeat seemed to echo like a drum of doom. Taylor sat in her study, the city lights casting long shadows through her floor-to-ceiling windows as Damon's call came through, confirmation that everything was in place. Brooke, unaware of the storm about to engulf her, was enjoying a quiet evening at her home, entertaining Hope and Liam, laughing and sharing memories as if the world had no darkness left to reveal. And then, just moments away from chaos, Taylor felt an unexpected pang of hesitation, a fleeting moment where conscience, guilt, and the faint echo of morality whispered in her ear. But it was gone as quickly as it came, swallowed by the overriding force of her obsession and desire for retribution. Damien assured her coldly, efficiently, that everything would proceed as planned, and Taylor, heart-pounding, hand-trembling, allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. But fate, as it often does in Les Angeles, has a way of turning the tables, of twisting every plan into something unforeseen. And just as Damon prepared to make his move, a phone call from Ridge shattered Taylor's careful composure. "Taylor, are you okay?" "You've been distant." Ridge's voice trembled with concern, unaware of the storm lurking just beneath her calm exterior. Taylor forced a smile, a mask of innocence, and replied softly, "I'm fine, Ridge. Just tired." But Ridge sensed it. Something wrong. Something she was hiding. A weight heavier than heartbreak pressing on her soul. Meanwhile, Damon's plan collided with Brooke's unpredictable instincts. Brooke, sharp, intuitive, and resourceful, had sensed something was off. A nagging feeling, a shadow of danger creeping into her perfect life. She called Hope and Liam away for a sudden errand, changing the very path Damien had meticulously planned, unknowingly saving herself from the edge of disaster. Taylor, oblivious to the misstep, waited, heart in her throat for the call that would signal completion, and then silence. Hours stretched into agonizing minutes as Taylor paced her study, eyes darting to the phone, mind racing, the tension unbearable, until finally Damon's voice came, edged with frustration and surprise. It didn't go as planned. And she's safe for now. Rage, fear, and disbelief collided inside Taylor's chest. The perfect storm of emotions that made her shake, her breath coming in sharp, uneven gasps. Her plan had failed, and for the first time, the consequences of her obsession hit her fully. Not just failure, but exposure, the very real possibility of losing everything she had schemed for, including the fragile trust of Ridge and the fragile reputation she had built over decades. Yet even in failure, Taylor's mind whirred with possibilities, with contingencies, with ways to adjust, refine, and escalate her plans. The next days were a dizzying dance of manipulation, intimidation, and psychological games. As Taylor tried to take over the tracks of her audacious scheme while maintaining her outward appearance of the loving, rational Taylor Hayes, Ridge, increasingly suspicious, began noticing discrepancies, fleeting moments where Taylor's story didn't add up. Small but undeniable signs of a secret too dangerous to ignore. Brooke, unaware of the near-death experience that had been so narrowly avoided, continued her life with a blissful ignorance. But shadows lingered in the corners, whispers of unease that hinted at the chaos yet to come. And in the shadows, Taylor plotted, eyes glinting with